We're back. Welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. The transfer window is open and we're back for business. We are back. First of all, actually, let me just tell you, we're sponsored by Vanarama. Vanarama, our new sponsor, they're driving football fans up and down the country. And also during the World Cup, you would have seen our van that we had last weekend in the Huddersfield game. Thanks very much for that. They didn't give it to us, by the way. People saying, yeah, we got it every week. We only had it for that game. But it was very nice indeed. Now, listen, you can win yourself, they're running a competition, you can win yourself the ultimate big night for the Champions League final, where you can win beer, a £50 voucher, and you can spend that anywhere you want. If you want to win that, all you've got to do is get along to their Twitter account, Vanarama Twitter account, and retweet it, the pinned tweet there, and you've got yourself a chance to win that. Let's get down to business. It's summer, it's the transfer time, and you know what, it's weird. No Arsene Wenger. For the 5 years in which we've been doing this, it's always been Arsene Wenger leading the transfer business, and this year, no Arsene Wenger. And I've got to admit, listen, we've loved Arsene Wenger over the years, but the one area that used to frustrate the life out of me with Arsene Wenger, and I think a lot of fans, was the transfer window. Arsene Wenger, notoriously stubborn when it came to transfers. Some of the, I mean, I remember that season when the only signing he made was Pierre-Emerick. I was pulling my hair out. Well, I got no hair. That just, you know, that ruined my hair. It was never ever going to grow back after that. Arsene Wenger was so frustrating throughout the transfer window. Now that Arsene Wenger is no longer at Arsenal, will there be a difference in their transfer dealings? We know that they've bought in Sanelli from Barcelona. They bought in Sven Mislintat, ex-Borussia Dortmund guy. He's head of recruitment. And already we've seen, in January, quite pleasing signs in the signings they made. You know, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's been brilliant since he's come in. 10 goals already. They got the Mkhitaryan deal done. All right, we lost Alexis Sanchez, but that seems like, you know, the Mkhitaryan thing, he's looking like he's going to be a great player for us. You know, Mavropanos, the youngster that they bought in, completely unknown, Greek defender, has come in. All right, I know he got sent off in that game against Leicester, but he's looked decent. So there's shooter optimism here that, you know, maybe you're going to see a change in the way that Arsenal do transfer business. It was very much before all down to Arsene Wenger and Dick Law, and sometimes they moved painfully slow in the transfer market. A lot of times they didn't get the targets that we all felt they should have got. Listen, it's not an easy job. Wenger, of course, did make great signings. But will there be a difference this summer? Remember last summer, you know, we started off, we got Lacazette. We was all like, yes, brilliant. Kolasinac came in on a free. We were saying, yeah, it's looking hopeful. And then after that, we didn't do anything again. What will this summer be like? And remember, the transfer window's really changed this year in that it closes early. As soon as the league season starts, which is mid-August, the transfer window in the Premier League will close. The rest of Europe will continue on till the end of August, but the transfer window, they voted on it, all the Premier League clubs, is going to close early. So a lot of clubs have got to get their business done pretty quickly. It's a World Cup year going on as well, so will clubs get their business done before the World Cup, or will they wait to see who's doing well in the World Cup and try and buy players from that? Lots and lots and lots of scenarios going on and coming into play here. So it's going to be an interesting transfer window. If you throw into the mix of that Arsenal don't even have a manager yet, right? That makes it interesting as well. Again, as I said, over the years, transfer business, strictly Arsene Wenger. He takes care of it from top to bottom. Dick Law going out and doing the negotiating. That has changed. There's been a lot of changes at Arsenal. You know, even Colin Lewin, who's been like part of the medical team for over 20 years at Arsenal, is gone. You know, they've made so many changes behind the scenes. So are we going to see a lot of differences there? Also, the new manager who comes in is not going to have the power that Arsene Wenger had. The new manager that comes in is going to be literally a coach. He's going to get players. So where I've heard some experts on TV saying, oh, well, you know, how can they buy anyone? The new manager ain't coming yet. The way the structure is now at Arsenal, that doesn't really make a difference. Yes, the new manager will have an input into players, and so it'd be interesting or, you know, helpful to have that manager in place pretty soon. But it's going to be Mislintat, Gazidis, Sinelli. They're going to be buying the players, really and truly. So, going to be really interesting to see how this new structure works. Now, first task is we need a manager, right? We ain't got a manager. Will it be Michiel Arteta? It seems to be everybody's favourite right now over the past couple of days. There's lots of rumours going around that Arsenal are going to be talking to Michiel Arteta today with a hope to wrapping this up pretty soon. I've done a video about it a couple of days ago. I'm a bit underwhelmed with Michiel Arteta. You know, I know he was a captain of Arsenal. Wasn't a very successful captain, we can say. I know that, you know, Guardiola's singing his praises. When he was at Arsenal, they used to call him the coach because he was a leader. I used to hear that at the time. But I'm still thinking to myself, with a divided fan base that Arsenal's got, it would have been the perfect time to bring in a name that would unite that fan base and also somebody that is going to fix that defence. Now, I don't know. Michiel, you know, I'll hold my hands up if I'm wrong. Michiel Arteta could be that guy. He could be that refreshing guy that comes in, sees that defence is a problem and fixes it. But I'm unsure. There's also rumours out of Italy today that Carlo Ancelotti is still in the frame for the job. Now, Ancelotti, again, listen, I think that would be a good signing. Maybe Ancelotti and Arteta would be a good one. But then, why would Arteta want to come and be a number 2 when he's already number 2 to Guardiola? So, but there's a lot of rumours going around today as well about Ancelotti. Most of those rumours tending to be coming out of Italy, but he is still available, Carlo Ancelotti, and he's done, you know, he's got lots of Premier League experience and he's done well in the league. Now, whoever gets the manager's job, I think everybody knows that the big problem at Arsenal is the defence. Up front, we're looking good. We've got Lacazette, Aubameyang, Mkhitaryan, Ozil. We've got a lot of attacking players, but we can't defend. We saw it last season, you know, it's particularly away from home. We were dreadful. Guys like Mustafi, not up to scratch last season. Bellerin had a really indifferent season. You look at Koscielny now, he's going to be out for a very long time with an Achilles injury. Even when he comes back, what sort of shape is he going to be in? He's not a spring chicken no more. Monreal's getting a little bit older, but I suppose Monreal had a great season and you've still got, you know, Kolasinac who should improve there. But we need, for me, a right back to, you know, test the Hector Bellerin. We need possibly 2 centre-backs. Chambers looked good towards the end of the season, but experience is needed in there. Now, lots of rumours going around today about Sokratis. Sokratis Papadopoulos, I can't pronounce the surname, I'm not going to attempt to, right? My Greek's not that great, but Sokratis, 29 years of age, plays for Borussia Dortmund. Of course, Sven Mislintat will know him very, very well. He's been linked heavily with a move to Arsenal. He's got about a year left on his contract, and the price would be about £15 million, which is, you know, there's also been these rumours going around that Arsenal have only got about 50 million to spend. Again, you know, I hope that is not true. But he's been linked heavily. Yes, I've seen him play, you know, in the flesh and that. He's a decent player, but I'd like to see Arsenal going for like a Koulibaly. At Napoli, it would be very, very expensive. But for me, we've got to be looking for someone who's a massive upgrade on what we've got. When I look at Sokratis, he's a very experienced guy. He's 79 caps he's got for Greece, but I'm still not 100% sold on Sokratis, but he could become an Arsenal player. There's also this other kid. He goes by the name of Kaglar Sionaku. I hope I pronounced that one right as well. He's a centre-back as well. 21 years of age. He's really impressed this season in Germany for Freiburg. And Manchester City also apparently looking at him. Arsenal looking at him as well. Price tag could be anything from about 25 to 35 million pounds. He's really, looked upon in Germany as a real hot prospect. We seem to be going really German at the moment, especially with Sven Mislintat being in there, but Arsenal looking at him. Arsenal apparently also looking back again at Johnny Evans. Of course, West Bromwich Albion have been relegated, and there's a clause in Johnny Evans' contract that does say that he can go for £3 million if West Bromwich Albion were relegated. So West Brom are going to have problems hanging on to him. But is he what Arsenal need? Right, he would be a very experienced player to bring in, of course, but he's just been in the defence that's been relegated out of the Premier League. He's never exactly pulled up trees over the years. Johnny Evans, is he what Arsenal needs? He would have that Premier League experience. He would be able to help some of the youngsters around him. But again, me personally, I'm looking for an upgrade. I look at somebody like a Koulibaly and I say that's on the same level as Van Dijk signing at, going to Liverpool. And if you're going to get players of that grade, it's going to cost a hell of a lot of money. But I think that's where Arsenal should be looking. They need to spend big on that defensive position. Another area where Arsenal are looking at is in the midfield. Now, defensive midfielder have been a problem for years. Granit Xhaka hasn't really cut it. Arsenal said to be looking at Jean-Michel Seri of Nice. They've been looking at him for a while. He's also wanted by Chelsea at the moment. And lots of talks that Arsenal have been speaking to his representatives. Again, though, I look at Seri, good player, deep lying player, who's a real playmaker. Very similar to Jack Wilshere, really, when you think about it. But not, when I've seen him play, not really a defensive midfielder. He's not really a great tackler. He's not really imposing. He's more a player that starts from deep and, can play killer passes and, really effective there. Is he what Arsenal really, really need? I'd be more saying if they brought in a player like that, then maybe that could be if Aaron Ramsey was to say leave the club. Because remember, we don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Ramsey. He's into the, coming towards the end of his contract, and we don't want to have this Alexis Sanchez situation that we had all last summer. So Seri maybe. He's been linked. Arsenal linked as well to a goalkeeper. Now, goalkeeper, again, is another area where Arsenal definitely need to bring somebody in. Petr Cech's ageing, and Ospina, surely Ospina's going to be off this summer. Is he going to want to just stay around and just be constantly playing as a number 2 when he can go and play as a number 1 somewhere else? Now, Arsenal apparently looking at this, another guy from the Bundesliga, this one from Bayer Leverkusen, Bernd Leno. Now, very, very highly rated over there in Germany, 26 years of age. The price for him said to be about £25 million. But again, no Premier League experience, rated in the Bundesliga. Some of the recent signings that have come over for the Bundesliga for Arsenal ain't always been the best, right? They haven't lived up. Kolasinac hasn't lived up to what he did in the Bundesliga, nor has Granit Xhaka. Aubameyang has already. But listen, this guy, Leno, is very highly rated. I don't know, man. I'd be looking, if I was Arsenal, at Jack Butland. Stoke have been relegated. Surely they're going to have to sell him. And, all right, it will probably be a higher price. It's going to, not probably be a higher price than 25 million, but Butland, Premier League experience, top goalkeeper. But hey, Sven Mislintat, as I said, he's German. He's been over in the Bundesliga for a long time, and he would have looked at this guy. And Leno apparently is very, very keen on signing for Arsenal. Obviously, it'd be a big step up from playing for Bayer Leverkusen. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. Who's going to be leaving Arsenal? It's a very interesting thing. Now, Lucas Perez, remember him? He's been out on loan all season. He's said to be wanted by Lazio. Surely Arsenal will be looking to move players like him on because, if it is only a £50 million budget, they'll be looking to raise money in other areas, and selling players like Lucas Perez and getting him off the wage bill will be a top priority for, the recruitment team and whoever the new manager is. And of course, as I said, Aaron Ramsey. What happens with Aaron Ramsey? He hasn't signed a new deal yet. We don't want to get into that situation, what we had with Alexis Sanchez last season. In an ideal world, we should be keeping Aaron Ramsey. He's a quality player. He returned to form last season. But if he doesn't want to sign, I think Arsenal have to move him on and bring in someone else. Maybe that's where a Seri would come in. But we cannot go back to the situations that we've had over the years with Alexis Sanchez, with Robin van Persie. We've got these players where it's in limbo. We're trying to persuade them to stay. They're hanging around. Then they go on the cheap. If Ramsey's going to go, we've got to cash in big on him and use that money in the areas that we need. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with him. Jack Wilshere, what I've been hearing is that he's going to stay. He will be staying. I know that he's going to be out of contract, but he will be staying. But the Ramsey situation really needs to be solved. And then there's other players. Mustafi, what happens with him? Do we keep Mustafi? We were trying to offload him last summer. He's not had a great season. He's not even made the German team. Do we keep hold of Mustafi, Joel Campbell, these sort of guys? They're all still at the club. You know, there's lots of, you know, players we need to be looking at and saying, are we keeping these guys or are we moving them on? So it's going to be a really interesting summer here. And we're going to be here each and every day here on Transfer Daily. Make sure you subscribe to ArsenalFanTV. Also, just to let you know, throughout the World Cup, AFTV are going to be doing the World Cup. We're going to be over there in Russia for some of it, maybe even all of it. We're just deciding that at the moment. But we'll be giving you great coverage of the World Cup. We'll be particularly looking at our players from Arsenal. It's really disappointing that Jack Wilshere's not going to be out there, but we've got a lot of players from Arsenal who are going to be there. Welbeck's going to be out there. Iwobi, you know, of course, Xhaka, players like this. Quite a lot of Arsenal players are going to be at the World Cup. So there'll be a real focus on them. On Transfer Daily, we'll be looking at a lot of the players that say become stars at the World Cup and maybe see if potentially they're players that we can bring to Arsenal. We're going to be all over the World Cup. We're going to have a fantastic coverage with that. We're going to be doing some teams up with UFF where they've got some extra special things that they're doing as well to do with the World Cup and some World Cup debates and that which we'll be getting involved in. So if you want to see or you want to get involved with the World Cup, keep it locked here on AFTV. Thanks for watching the show today. We will be back every single day of the summer until that transfer window shuts. Let's hope and pray, first of all, that we get a good manager. And if it is Arteta, it is Arteta. I'll get behind him 100%. Create a Allegri, please. Right? And also that we make some great signings this summer in the areas that we need. Will there be a change this summer in our transfer policy and the way we do things? Or is it going to be another one of those frustrating summers? We are going to find out here. And you'll be able to follow it here on Transfer Daily.